Kash Patel is head of the FBI, and Dan Bongino, I can never pronounce, like Dan Bongo, who is the deputy director or something. I mean, basically they're just talk radio people that have just been put in these various jobs, but they're within the FBI. And obviously Kash Patel running the FBI now. And he's on with Dan Bongino, they're on Fox News, in Maria Bartiromo, am I pronouncing that correctly? Asks Kash Patel about Jeffrey Epstein, which is a very weird fixation of the MAGA right.
People really want to know.
It's we can get to the files. We need the Epstein files. Like MAGA has an obsession with this. So Kash Patel, Dan Bongino, super MAGA people are asked this question on Fox Business with Maria Bartiromo.
You said Jeffrey Epstein committed suicide. People don't believe it.
Well, I mean, listen, they have a right to their opinion, but as someone who has worked as a public defender, as a prosecutor, who's been in that prison system, who's been in the Metropolitan Detention Center, who's been in segregated housing, you know a suicide when you see one, and that's what that was.
He killed himself. You want me to? I've seen the whole file. He killed himself.
The reason I bring that up is the response by Twitter. The MAGA Twitter is that, look, they got captured by the swamp. They got captured by Washington. All these people have these ideas, populist this, populist that. They come to D.C., and the next thing you know, they're captured by the institutions. These are two people who believe, they've seen the evidence. I mean, they look like, I'm shocked that people think he was murdered. I still can't believe it. Who was also shocked by this response was Tucker Carlson.
Oh, really?
So Tucker Carlson has a guy on who I think was a former CIA guy. I have no idea who this guy is. I mean, he's probably has a bazillion followers.
Yeah,
I'm not saying
you should book him.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not in an insulting way. Nobody knows who I am. This is Tucker Carlson talking to his guest about that Kash Patel, Dan Bongino interview.
Wait, what are you talking about? I thought we could all sleep well at night now knowing that Epstein legitimately killed himself, right?
What was that?
Did that just come out?
It's just two guys that I really like. I mean, I love Bongino, but he's a friend of mine. But you weren't convinced by that?
No.
Why?
I mean, I've dug into that, and it's just so spooky what's going on with that, and how nobody. I mean, how do you charge a guy with sex trafficking when there's no end users that have been charged? Who did he traffic to?
Well, that's a great question. I don't know. You got me on that one.
I mean, right? How do you charge him with that if there's no? I mean, if that's where the trail starts, where does it end? We haven't. So, I think there's just a lot more going on than the majority of people know about.
What do you think that was?
What do I think it was?
Yeah.
I think it was a blackmail operation. What do you think it was?
I think it was a blackmail operation run by the CIA and the Israeli intel services.
Oh, I was wondering.
Yeah, I got to it.
I was wondering.
He got to the Israelis.
Yeah,
It didn't take long.
Absolutely.
It only took about 45
The ultimate
seconds.
conspiracy theory.
The guest, I don't know his name, no disrespect to him. He does have to ask a totally fair question, but it's completely irrelevant, right? I mean, did he kill himself? Why are you not charging people on the other end?
Right.
Well, yeah, that's a fair question, but nobody has any evidence of this. The fact that they're offended that they're not going along with the conspiracy theories, like, hey, guy's a friend of mine. This is crazy. What happened? It's like they have the evidence. They have a big dossier, and the FBI has access to it. They look through it and they say, well, the guy killed himself. And the response to the people who are their friends are like, have they been captured? This is complete madness. Am I wrong?
I mean, to stand up, this is something I know very little about. I do think that there has been a lack of transparency. There's obviously a huge appetite for information here.
Correct.
And my understanding is that people want files that have not been turned over. I think that
many of them have, by the way. This is the Epstein client list.
Have they?
All that stuff is public. Yeah.
Have
There's
they?
A lot, yeah,
Is that what people? Is that the the outstanding file.
Well, the thing is, I mean, yeah, they have all sorts of conspiracy theories. I mean, what files, quote unquote, that they want
Right.
is that these are people who have never lived in New York City. I can guarantee you that.
Yeah.
You know why?
Why?
Because you know what the evidence is? Okay, I'm asking people, what is the evidence? If you're out there in Zoom land and you want to
Yeah.
come on and tell me, come and tell me, what's the evidence that he was murdered? Who did it? The guy who killed OJ's wife? Who did it? And you know what you're going to get? This is the evidence you get. The cameras, they weren't working. In a New York City state
Right.
facility, the cameras weren't working.
Right. I think to
Nothing
me-
works in New York City. Are you kidding me?
I really don't know anything about this. That does sound weird, but to speak with
Doesn't
so
sound-
much
no.
certainty.
Yeah.
Oh, well, there's that
It's
too.
not
I can see
weird.
it.
It's
I can
like-
see it both ways.
it's-
That's so true.
By the
Nothing
way,
works in
Kash
this
Patel
city.
actually says something that is true. He's like, I've been in these facilities. Do
Right.
you know what he's saying? They're shitholes.
Yeah,
And they
yeah,
like,
yeah.
the guard wasn't paying attention? Oh, shocking. He makes $500,000 a year. It's like, no. I'm surprised that there is even a guard there.
I think that people are probably right to ask questions,
Sure.
but that's not really what they're doing. They're saying with
they
certainty.
got an answer.
They're saying with certainty that there was a cover up.
Yes.
Yeah.
They asked questions, they got an answer. And then they said, well, I don't know what's happening with that answer. They're not looking for an answer. They're looking for the message. They're looking for the narrative
Right.
that they're put forward. I mean, you make a lot of money being a
To
conspiracy.
be honest, the whole child sex trafficking thing, which, like I said, I don't know anything about, but I know some of these believers, and it's really like a metaphysical hole.
Yeah.
It goes really deep where I think even if, let's say Kash Patel on that interview said there was a cover up, like it would just continue and continue and continue. No answer would be satisfactory.
I mean, Tucker Carlson, that clip, by the way, was from yesterday, mentioned the JFK assassination, which he's obsessed with. We had the author of Case Closed, Gerald Posner, on, who wrote this book 30 years ago saying, yeah, Oswald did it. But they're so obsessed with this. And I was thinking when I was watching this, I hadn't thought of this. They're saying that, we need more of the files. They're not, even Trump is not giving us all the files. Do they believe that there's a receipt in there? That like the CIA is just like, we did it, don't release this. They didn't set it on fire. What are they expecting to find in any of this stuff? Because they accept the incompetence of the conspirators, but they don't accept the incompetence of the state of New York City. Mm-hmm. So it's very selective in this way, but it also speaks to the larger problem within the conservative movement that it's been taken over by crazy people who are conspiracy theorists because they believe that everything is a pedophilic sex ring. I mean, they had one of these women who was, behind one of the big progenitors of the QAnon theory on that dope plagiarist Benny Johnson's show the other day. And he's hugely popular. This stuff is a bit
But
worrying.
increasingly, do you believe in the horseshoe theory?
Yeah,
You do?
sure.
Okay, is that like a theory or is that agreed upon fact?
It's not agreed upon fact, but I think that you're always going to have commonalities between extremists, for sure. For sure.
Well, yeah, I mean, increasingly the extremes are leading to the same place, and it's often Israel.
Well, it is often Israel because conspiracy theories begin one place and they always end with the Jews. It's never not happened throughout human history. So you're going to get there at some point. I think Tucker is slowly inching towards the Israel part of it. I'm not saying he's anti-Semitic. I'm just saying he's going towards the Israel
Huge
part
difference. Zionism, Judaism, different.
Well,
different.
I mean, every anti-Zionist is an anti-Semite in a lot of ways. No, I mean, every anti-Semite's an anti-Zionist. The other way, I think there's Jewish anti-Zionists and everything. I try to allow people some latitude on that. But that is the one thing. And the other commonality is they question power, right? They question a swamp. There's a conspiracy of people in Washington, D.C., and if you know people, if you've been a reporter for a long time, you know how incompetent people are.
Yeah,
you know that people can't keep any secrets.
Totally.
Our entire business works on the fact that nobody can keep secrets.
Right.
But they keep these ones.
But we were just talking about Joe Biden.
But they didn't keep it. Like, that was an amazing one because they tried to keep a secret that was debunked by every time Joe Biden was in public.
Totally.
Right? I mean, that was, we didn't
That's
need
true.
the Jake Tapper book for that.
There was, in retrospect, there was a lot of evidence right in front of us.
Correct. Yeah.
Which I think is what these people would say about Jeffrey Epstein
Yeah.
and the prison cell and the cameras not
Well,
working.
sure. I mean, I think the thing is that you can't keep the evidence from people, but when people point out the evidence, you can bully them into submission. Because I think there's a lot of people that I knew in journalism who knew that this stuff was true and didn't want to say so publicly. Alex Thompson even said that to me and Matt Welsh and Camille Foster on the Fifth Column podcast when we were doing it from Chicago, when I was doing the Free Press thing.
Yeah.
Alex came on and he was talking about how difficult it was for him as a journalist to talk about this stuff.
Yeah.
People didn't like it.
Right.
And they were like, oh, you're on the other team. Because there's so many people in journalism that believe it to be a team sport. It's only your tribe or the other people's tribe. And that's what journalism's become too. I mean, it's a tribal thing. It's worse.
Yeah, I was just thinking, I feel like the ultimate, it would be the most surprising thing you could do as a New York Times reporter right now would be like to investigate the death of Jeffrey Epstein.
Well, I mean, I think you'd run up against a brick wall that a guy killed himself.
Right. Right. That's
And by the way,
true.
does
That's
anyone
true.
notice that he tried to kill himself like a week before, 2 weeks before, and failed?
Oh, really?
Yeah. This. No one talks about this, right? I mean, it's the same thing with Lee Harvey Oswald. He tried to kill General Walker, one of the leaders.
So he was determined.
He was determined. I mean, you would be too.
Right.
If you were facing
I
that.
also wanted to say, so in that Tucker clip, they were saying this is a blackmail operation, possibly involving the Israelis. Well, it's also possible that it is a blackmail operation and he killed himself.
Correct.
Like running a blackmail operation sounds extremely stressful.
That is the best point of the day, is that you can kill yourself because of the blackmail operation.
Right? I don't quite understand, why would that prove that it wasn't
Oh my
a
God, if someone was
suicide,
blackmailing me and
right?
I was in that prison,
100%.
oh my God, I would kill myself on day one.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't fail. I mean, he got the second time. Like,
Whoa.
well, no, I mean, he was good at like tax advice, but he was first time trying to kill himself. But no, I just mentioned the Lee Harvey Oswald one. Lee Harvey Oswald literally tried to kill General Walker, who was one of the leaders of the John Birch Society like 6 months before. And then we were like, couldn't have been him. It's like, no, he's literally, and then he killed Officer Tippett right after.
Yeah.
Who killed him?
Yeah.
None of this stuff ever makes
Right.
sense because it's not supposed to make sense.
Right.
It's supposed to feed a broader idea about the world.
Right.
And the idea about the world that Tucker is going with these days is the deep state. It's all about this is part of the deep state. Were our friends captured by
But
the
I'm
deep state?
always wondering, like, okay, so who is the ultimate controller? So, like, because Joe Biden, I feel like a lot of conspiracy theories go back to him, or did when he was in office, but then sometimes it wasn't even Joe Biden, it was like someone's controlling Joe Biden. So who's controlling Joe Biden? And then who's controlling, I don't really...
Jill.
Is
Dr.
it
Jill.
Dr.
I think
Jill?
Dr. Jill
But
is
if you
controlling.
keep going far enough, is it the Illuminati? Like,
Well, that's where you get to, that's why YouTube's successful, because people love simple stories. People are incredibly stupid about a lot of this stuff. And politics has become a thing that is a unifying thing for people on Facebook and people in their communities. And you don't have to know a lot about it. It's a very easy thing to just, assimilate some ideas here and there from, Fox or MSNBC or whatever it might be, and then to come out with these very aggressive theories like, look, it's much more fun to talk about a conspiracy theory. Because one of the things about conspiracy theories is the secret knowledge. It's the idea that you have that. If
Right.
you've ever been to a dinner party or something and somebody says, 9/11 was an inside job, and you're like, well, I don't think so. And the response is usually something like, you believe that? Really?
Yeah.
It's a condescending, like, I know the thing that you don't. And people love that. And they really get off on it.